Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the conference, the biggest blockchain summit in Germany. We're kickstarting the second discussion panel of the deep stage in this iconic location. And today, together with Sebastian, Philipp, Roman, and Rob, we're going to explore the challenges, opportunities, and trends related to metaverse in an enterprise setting. I think we all can agree that metaverse is not a buzzword anymore. It's a new digital frontier which is revolutionizing the way that companies are interacting with their customers, and they are creating new revenue streams and the way that they train their employees. Now, first let me introduce myself. My name is Mahsa Doorfard. I'm the sales and marketing manager at coinIX, which is a blockchain investment firm based in Hamburg. And now I'm going to ask our speakers to shortly introduce themselves, starting from you, Rob.
I'm good. Hey, I'm Rob. I'm CEO of MSquared, which is a metaverse technology company. You can kind of think of it as Amazon Web Services for virtual worlds, all the things you need to build your own virtual world rather than be part of someone else's.
Hi, my name is Roman, and I'm working in the Metaverse department of ERGO, the insurance company in Germany. And we build a lot of cool and interesting new solutions for our customers and employees.
Hi, my name is Philipp. I'm founder and advisor of Pass01, a small boutique consultancy based on emerging tech from Switzerland.
Hi, my name is Sebastian, and I'm head of markets and technologies at the German digital association Bitkom, and I lead a group which deals with future technologies like XR, the metaverse, blockchain, and quantum computing.
Perfect. We have a great lineup of speakers. Now, to begin with, we can say that the hype that we had around metaverse in 2022 has faded away. Nowadays, companies need to demonstrate a real return on investment. They have to demonstrate it from the virtual worlds. But if you want to speak based on your experience, which one of the applications of the metaverse in enterprises is gaining the most value from the virtual worlds and these immersive experiences? Who wants to start?
Yeah, I think this is the really big thing to call out. So around 2022, metaverse was like the new buzzword, and people were doing, frankly, ludicrous things there in terms of vision. The idea that we're going to buy groceries with VR headsets on or that sort of thing. And now, virtual worlds as a format need to stand up to scrutiny, and we have to ask ourselves, like, how are virtual worlds better than watching a video or, listening to a kind of an audio feed? It's a new type of medium. And for us, we found the kind of two characteristics around applications that have to be true. One is you really have to be targeting digitally native and avatar literate people. If you've never walked around in Roblox or around, sort of VR chat or these places, you're going to struggle to have people feel truly immersed in these environments. And then the second one is around being social and immersive. If you're building an application where you just stand still and you stare at a screen, or you're not actually, engaging with other people socially in the space, or engaging with it physically, then virtual worlds aren't necessarily the right tool for the job. For us, we've been doing things like very large-scale town halls where thousands of employees can hang out with each other. That's unique, and that's better than doing it in Zoom. And we've done things like parties and bringing in celebrities into the space where you can hang out and talk to them, chat with them. Again, that's a really interesting act.
Yeah, for us, metaverse also, it's a buzzword, and we've first started with thinking about, okay, what is metaverse really for us, for ERGO, for our insurance company? And for us, it's gaming, it's Web3, it's virtual reality, and it's AI. And all these four technology pillars, we have different kind of solutions for our employees and customers. For example, we started with virtual reality, but it's really hard to get a really good business case out of virtual reality right now because the technology level isn't just high enough. So what we see is that virtual worlds are really interesting for us, and you can build a business case around it. And also video avatars. For example, yesterday we had here Synthesia. Synthesia is a video avatar platform, and you can just prompt something, like in ChatGPT, and you get a video out of it. And this is, for example, highly beneficial for us, and this is something we are working on strongly.
I believe each of you is staring at a laptop. I see 2 or 3 back there. For roughly 6 to 7 hours a day. So I think before we start with applications, which leverage, let's say, blockchain in 1 year, in 2 years, in 3 years. As you said correctly, we're trying to prove the value today. So we need to solve problems that each of us has today. So when you think about immersive technologies, that includes on the one side the screen time we're having. So for the last, let's say, 50 years, we've all been looking at screen sizes which are similar to the laptops here in front of you. So I think one of the applications is starting with yourself, leveraging immersive technologies for increasing your productivity. This starts with yourself alone, and then we don't have this accessibility problem that our clients, our customers, do not have VR headsets. So it's just you or your team who requires it. That's the one. So it's starting with yourself. And then the second, of course, when it comes to internal collaboration inside your company. This is where I believe where we solve problems today. Of course, it can be a rather physical job when we talk about, let's say, Siemens, the automotives, probably, Sebastian, you will have some insights on that. When it comes to machinery, I think that's very straightforward, where you start to visualize stuff. But also when we talk about 2D content as traditional computer screens.
Yeah, it's all absolutely right. I think the metaverse as a term brings together different technologies, and I think this became clear in the last statements already. So XR is one piece of it. It's more or less the interface you use. You have to use the metaverse, but it combines technologies like XR, like AI, like blockchain, like digital twins, and by combining them, it brings it to another level. If you call it metaverse or somehow else, it doesn't matter. What matters are the use cases. And some of them have already been mentioned. Training is another one. And in the industrial field, players like Siemens have the industrial metaverse. And it's really about bringing together the virtual world and the real world. So bridging this gap, I think, is in the heart of the metaverse. And in industries, for example, you have the digital twin of real factories, or you plan your future factories in virtual worlds. So you plan them, you train your staff in these virtual factories, you train AI in them. And when you open the doors of your real factory, AI and your staff is already trained. So these are the benefits we have right now. And for training, maybe you need XR. But for training the AI in a virtual world, you do not need XR. So it's really this combination of different technologies. And if you understand this, you can get money out of it right now.
Perfect. So my next question is directly from Sebastian. So based on the information of Bitkom, do you think how many companies in Germany are actually using XR and how many are planning to use it? I mean, are we lagging behind America and Asia, or are we making progress?
The funny thing is AR and VR are already used. So we asked companies in Germany with 20 and more employees. And 73 of them see XR, AR and VR as that it has a major significance for economy in general. And we have quite a lot of them, 32%, that are using some form of AR and VR. It doesn't mean that they use it everywhere, but they use it at least in some places. And we have another 24% that plan to do so in future. So if you look at XR, quite a lot of companies are understanding that this technology is there and that you can use it. If you go to the metaverse and if you ask them about the metaverse, the picture is very different. You only have 30% that say, okay, it might be having a significance for me or for economy in general, and you have hardly any company that is really doing something in there. And we also ask them, do you see the metaverse more as a chance or at a risk? And it's very interesting to see that 1/3 says, okay, it's more a chance, 1/3 says it's more a risk, and 1/3 says, I have no idea at all. So you really see people and companies need more information about it, and they do not really understand what this term is all about. And more than 70% say, I do not see the use cases for the metaverse. But again, if you look at XR, if you show them the real use cases, for example, training, collaboration, etc., they see the use case. But if you just say, hey, go to the metaverse or use the metaverse, they do not see why they should go there and what it is at all.
I maybe have a fun fact. So I've read that in Germany we have 4 million VR glasses, but most of them are used for gaming, especially with PlayStation. And we from the corporate world, I think we have to still buy some more because like most of them are just for gaming, and this is not what we are targeting. But yeah, I think it's really a fun fact. 4 million is like huge.
Do you think that enterprises prefer to create their own immersive environments, or do they prefer to use third parties for that?
Yep.
So I'm really biased here because I'm CEO of a company that sells tooling that lets you build your own virtual world rather than be part of Roblox. But yeah, we've generally seen businesses, they're excited about building these sorts of immersive experiences. They think about building it themselves. They look at game engines like Unity and Unreal. And these things are built for building video games, not multiplayer, social, immersive, connected experiences. And then they realize to actually turn those things into those immersive things is going to take millions of dollars of investment. And for us, we're about selling these individual pieces that you can use to take an existing app or take an existing website and inject sort of metaversal aspects to it. You can add an avatar to your user experience for your clients and customers. You can add lightweight web worlds powered by WebGL and WebGPU, or you can have full-blown game engine-based experiences with pixel streaming from the browser. We've seen some enterprises trying to do activations within Roblox. At the end of the day, it's a game for kids, and it has guardrails and it has restrictions. You can't really integrate your own data, your own account systems. You can't have your own sort of safety systems and compliance systems integrated with that. So we're finding that people are sort of prototyping within existing metaverse platforms, but with the fullness of time, people need to think of virtual worlds as just another part of their estate. Just like they have apps, just like they have websites, virtual worlds are just going to be another part of the business's sort of area it looks after.
Yeah, I can highly agree. So it makes sense to work together with IT service providers because, for example, we as an insurance company, we don't have the knowledge in our company. And we have to train the people who use XR. And so it makes sense to work together with partners. We also build a solution on Roblox because Roblox is the biggest platform out there by far. So it makes sense to learn how the new virtual worlds function. And also, there's a complete new target group. They're Gen Z. They work completely different than we do, and we have a lot of boomers, of course. So it's a kind of process we have in our company to bridge the gap between the younger generation and most of the older people we have in the company. It's really interesting to see, but yeah, I would highly agree to work together with IT service provider. Just start with a white label solution and build some product, build some virtual worlds. And then over time, you can develop your own employees to build stuff on your own. Then we don't need you anymore. But for the next years, it makes sense to do it.
And how do companies actually handle the interoperability between different environments so that we don't have some silos and isolated islands of environments?
I think it depends. I mean, this goes hand in hand with your previous question, right? Because you're asking, are we building something ourselves? So do we, from the beginning on, can we custom tailor our API so that in the end we're talking out of one system? Or are we just reusing something so we can start fast and we can have a result, but we're in the end just using a white label or just something off the shelf? I think it depends on the stage. Of course, if you're talking about a VR application that is live, then companies, of course, need to, from the beginning onwards, have a clear IT architecture to not build the next silo, which I believe, please, I'm interested in your opinion, but which I believe is still happening quite often, since especially in the beginning for VR applications, it is easier to just start with something, to show something, to have some proof of value, and then after you have done this proof, often in a second step, there is the IT security check. Then you think about how can we scale this solution, and this is the second point where then often, unfortunately, to this point, we then see ourselves facing the challenge, okay, how do we integrate whatever we're building in VR with our backbone?
Absolutely, I think it's really a problem that many have created these silos, many companies. They work, of course, but then they see, okay, I need the data from my CRM, my ERP system, and they can't get them in this application. Or they see, okay, we should have a device management like for our usual laptops and mobile phones. It doesn't work for these XR devices. So that's a problem. And that's maybe the problem between aspiration and reality concerning metaverse at all. So metaverse, the idea of the metaverse is this interoperable world where you can change from one side of the metaverse to another one, from one room to another one, regardless which hardware you use, regardless which software you use. And of course, we are not there. We are more like in the usual IT or Web 2 world, where you have different platforms, where you have different silos, and you have the problem to get your data, for example, from one to the other, and where you have your APIs, etc. So it's not the ideal metaverse at all at the moment.
I think that there's actually been a lot of, interoperability was another one of those buzzwords from a couple of years ago. And I think since then, there's actually been a lot of interesting progress going further forward. At MSquared, we've been pushing an open standard called Metaversal Markup Language, which is like HTML, but for 3D scenes you can take between experiences. It's worth doing a 30-second thing on what is interoperability, because it's just a word, but there's many stacks to it. You mentioned, I guess, what I'd call data interoperability, the idea of your ownership and progress and those sorts of things being portable. Blockchains are a good tool for that. You can obviously have open databases and APIs, but blockchains have a lot of open standards there, like ERC 71 for ownership, etc. There's visual interoperability, the idea that something looks the same in different places, and we have standards like GLTF and really nice runtime 3D representations, so you can load a 3D model in Unity, in Unreal, in 3JS, on the web, on your phone, in VR, and it works consistently. We've been focusing on what we call behavioral interoperability. So besides something just being a static 3D asset, you want to have something like a jukebox you can go up to and you can talk to it and you can decide to play a song and it goes to the internet and queries it. And that's where we've been exploring with that. And with a lot of our white label solutions that we sell, we have interoperability baked in. I think that's something if you're looking to either build something or buy something, make sure that it supports these open standards so that you aren't locked in, as you're saying.
Absolutely. I think if you are creating virtual worlds or virtual objects right now, you have these new opportunities. Sometimes it's harder for a company that just want to buy a solution to really understand this and how to integrate this in the usual IT they are using.
Very good. So whether enterprises create their own immersive environments or they use third parties, the road to mass adoption ain't going to be easy. Now, can you tell me what are some of the technical challenges that the enterprises might face if they want to go towards metaverse?
So technical challenges would be my part, I would say. So because we are BaFin regulated, a financial company, we have a lot of security topics we have to target. But also for the employees, like I said before, it's really hard to get everyone on board and to educate everyone. And if you bring a solution, then everyone is asking what's the benefit? And often in the beginning, like also you said, you don't really have the benefit of efficiency, the benefit of have a new business model or revenue model behind it, because it's just testing out. And to get it started, it's kind of tough sometimes. So everyone who works in the corporate, I think, has the same situation. But because we are BaFin regulated, we can't just test everything out. We have to do a lot of processes. We have to target a lot of employees from the IT part of the company, and to get them on board, have a huge project, and then you don't just have a POC in 3 months. So sometimes it needs 12 to 18 months to have a POC ready because of all the challenges. And then if you have it ready, because the technology we're talking about, it's so fast, especially AI, then you don't need it anymore after 18 months and you start again. So this is something what really annoys me. But also, yeah, it's a process and you have to comply to it. The only thing what we can do better is learn of our experience from the last projects and maybe be faster on the next one because we know some shortcuts. Yeah, but we have a lot of regulatory frameworks we have to comply to.
You want to add anything else? No. Okay. Oh, right.
There was a TikTok I saw a few weeks ago. Sorry, I promise it's relevant. There was a new employee at a company who'd realized that Microsoft Teams has a metaverse feature where you can walk around. Yeah, imagine you can walk around. And they actually got in trouble with their manager because the manager thought that they were goofing around. But for them, they work remotely. And it's a really big part of just hanging out serendipitously with their, sort of their coworkers. Dressing up their avatar is a big part of their own personal identity and how they express themselves. Yet their manager was just like, what is this absolute madness? And I think you're going to find that sort of generational divide. And again, every year that goes by, those people get a year older, those people go into leadership, those people can buy decisions for products and SaaS. So I think that's going to be interesting.
We also tried out Mesh, and we also have a virtual platform where you can choose if you want to be a man or a woman, and you can dress yourself as you want to express yourself. And this is also, this was a lot of talking to different kind of managers, because they don't realize, okay, you are a woman now, and you have black hair and a cape. I can't really cope with it.
Well, one of my employees actually goes to work as a potato. So, you know, you can be anything in the metaverse. It's great.
Now let's look ahead into the future. What trends and opportunities are you most excited about for the next 3 to 5 years?
The VR glasses from Meta.
Well, these are the AR ones that they're working on, so yeah.
I believe we will see a convergence, finally. It's not a discussion whether it's either AR, VR, or AI. I think relatively soon, within, I believe, the next 3 months, once we see the Meta AR glasses, once we see the Android XR glasses coming, people will extremely fast realize the value of having in your field of view additional information added in best case even complemented or smartly shown to you with the AI capabilities. So I'm very excited to this stage, or let's say this awakening, going to happen, I would say, in the next 3-4 months. Let's say, okay, let's give people some time after the Christmas season to go shopping and then to experience it. Let's say in the next half year to have this awakening of, okay, it's not either XR or AI, it's both, because one is front end, how you see technology, and the other one, AI, is the back end, which provides the data to you. So I'm very excited for that.
Absolutely, and I think this brings us to better bridging the real and the virtual world. So if you have these glasses and you get the information in your field of view, you really blend virtual world and real world. And I think I'm very excited about this, and it's powered by AI and it's powered by new AR glasses we will see in the near future.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's probably going to be the biggest disruption to, the default device you have is your phone, which you're using every day. But the second you have something which, isn't Google Glass, it's the next level. It's something that's going to be fashionable and something that people want to use. I just think it's a complete no-brainer. The other thing I'm excited about, and it's something that we work a lot on, is around, multi-user and kind of social experiences. I was on a panel a while back, and they said that VR was very lonely. And I thought that was mental, because obviously you're putting these glasses on and you can go anywhere in the world. And it's actually because making these experiences where you can have, say, hundreds or even thousands of people in the same virtual space with you is quite a technical challenge. And that's something that we've been solving over the past couple of years. And I think for us, our vision of the metaverse is deeply social and it's deeply participatory. We don't think you're going to put VR headsets on and go into your own different dream worlds. It's about bringing people together.
I would love to thank the speakers for sharing their knowledge. We have time for a quick question and answer. Is anyone going to ask any question? I'm not done yet.
Oh, sorry.
Good morning. My name is Catherine. Thanks for sharing all the insights. It was super exciting and interesting. I'm doing female empowerment summits within the metaverse, and we have amazing speakers, amazing presenters, but we would have 10 times more if the women would be more confident in presenting within the rooms, because most of the women are like, yeah, I have no idea how to go about that. I'm very insecure about my features, about the software. My software is old. I don't know how to move, how to present. And I was thinking maybe you have some tricks and tips and insights how to convince people, especially women within the metaverse, how they get more familiar within this space. Because right now, it's really challenging to get speakers to these rooms because they are so worried about these, I would say, technical stuff.
Right, I'll take it, yeah. I think it's a mix. So the one is, of course, whoever's organizing that, there should always be, let's say, it should be accessible. Try to minimize, I think we all have experienced this phase where you send around VR headsets, some people put them upside down, the display at the back like a cappy, no, just jokes aside, but try to make it easier on the one side. On the other side, I think there are great initiatives from companies, but also from the state. Like, for example, Lower Saxony started the XR campus, where people can go to and experience the technology in a safe environment. just try to, on the one side, reduce the barrier, but on the other side, also encourage them, try it in a playful way. Get a VR headset, just try yourself around, and I have the feeling if people are not forced into a headset, but rather have the chance to experience it in a playful way or in a safe environment, this is increasing the acceptance and just the chances of them adopting it and wanting to adopt it.
I was tempted to say that you might want to focus on virtual experiences you can use from your phone or use from a kind of desktop device. But actually reflecting on some of the things that we've done in the past, we actually had a member of royalty come to our office maybe like 5-10 years ago, in the early days of VR. This person's probably never played a video game in their entire life. WASD, mouse movement, it's extremely unfamiliar if you haven't been doing that for years and years. But weirdly, with a VR headset, there's a scary upfront investment to go and do it. But once you're in it, it's actually deeply intuitive. We were playing a game of chess in VR, and one of the chess pieces fell on the ground, and this person, who's never been in a virtual world, leant down, picked up the chess piece, rotated it, and put it back on the chessboard. And I was thinking, in a video game with a mouse and keyboard, that's extremely complicated to do. So it might be about getting people more confident to kind of jump into the pool of trying on the VR devices, because once you're familiar, a lot more cognitive ease kicks in, because it is much more like being in a real environment.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. This is the first step, which is challenging, to get the people making the first experience, whether this is maybe scary at the first time. But yeah, thank you so much for sharing.
Perfect. So, as we wrap up, it's clear that metaverse is not a distant vision anymore. It's a reality which is evolving, and it needs strategic thinking, technological literacy, and innovative experimentation. Thank you for your attention.